Hello there. Today I'm at the Wine Future Conference in Coimbra in Portugal, and I've managed to find a wine from one of the most interesting producers in Vinho Verde. So this is Anselmo Mendes, and this is an Alvarinho. It's 2021, and this is the Parcela Unica that he makes. So this is a single vineyard wine, and Mendes is famous for sort of experimenting, taking Vinho Verde to the limits, and with the Parcela Unica he's created quite an exceptional wine here. So, as I say, 100% Alvarinho, Alvarinho as it would be known in Regias Baixas in Spain to the north, in the Vinho Verde region. So we've got an area between the sea and the mountains. Here we have a vineyard which is on granite soils, but this is small granite pebbles, free draining, but with proportion of orangish clay in the soil, which enables the wine to get a little more water from that and gives the wine a bit more richness, and they say gives it some herbal expression and creates greater complexity. This is the wine that Mendes feels is more sort of Burgundian than the rest of his range. Fruit here is entirely hand-picked, which of course will involve an extent of selection, so quality fruit going in there. The fruit at the winery is destemmed, it's very, very gently pressed, and it's allowed to settle, so you're fermenting really clean juice. This is one of the areas where the added complexity is coming to this wine, in the fact that it ferments in new French oak barrels, very lightly toasted, so there's not too much toasty influence, and also 400 litre barrels, so slightly larger than your standard barrique. So yes, there is quite an overt oak influence, but that's been toned down by the size of the barrel and the toasting being sort of pulled back a little bit. The wine then stays in that barrel for 9 months, and for the first, I think, 4 or 5 months of that period, anyway, for the earlier part of that, the wine is still on its gross lees, and those are stirred occasionally, just to add a bit of richness and roundness. So that's the sort of the predominantly the dead yeast that's left in there, and possibly some solids left, but obviously the wine had been settled, so there won't be that much of that sort of thing. But yes, adding roundness and richness to the finish. Once the wine's been bottled, it then also ages for a further year in bottle at the winery, just to allow it to sort of harmonise before it's released to the market. So this is aiming to be, and I believe succeeds, we'll see, to be a premium Vinho Verde, a premium single varietal, single vineyard Vinho Verde. So let's have a look at it, shall we? I mean, the first thing to say is you've got, really it's a pale to medium yellow colour, but there is a degree of depth. There's almost a slight gold hint in the colour that points to that fermentation, perhaps a little bit of colour taken from there, although there won't be much because the aging with lees will have reduced that. So let's see what we make of the aroma, shall we? The aromas have a lovely green, herbaceous, it's a green leaf note. They're a green fruit, maybe sort of hint of gooseberry, that sort of quite high toned, quite sharp sort of greenness there. And let's taste. The wine has a lovely, fine, mineral, intense acidity right at the front of the mouth. It's causing me to salivate, and that's lifting the fruit notes. There's lovely sort of sharp, appley notes. I should imagine that there's a certain amount of malic acid is retained because there is that sort of precision and that crispness to the acidity. The body is probably only medium bodied, but it's rounded, it's smooth. Often when you're talking about lees, you'll talk about dairy notes. Those aren't there in terms of the flavours, but there is a sort of a creamy smoothness to the wine that lasts really quite well. The finish is delicate. There is perhaps a tiny touch of toastiness, but these are all these notes are beautifully integrated, and they're really quite sort of restrained. The entire wine is harmonious. It's led by that lovely minerally crispness, but there's enough weight and richness to stop it being angular. The alcohol of this wine was only 12.5%, so it's not huge. There is actually quite a little bit of warmth and roundness coming from that, but it certainly doesn't overpower the fruit. And the finish ends with this sort of rich, creamy texture, aptly flavoured notes that last impressively well, actually, for a wine that's not a big blockbusting wine. So yes, a Vinho Verde with a little more complexity and weight than you would traditionally think of, from Anselmo Mendes. Very interesting wine. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found the tasting interesting. If you've enjoyed it, do please like and share. Do also consider signing up and following us on YouTube. It'd be great. Then you could join us for another tasting again soon. Also, any comments you've got, we'd love to see. Do enter them below. But thank you for joining us. I hope you join us again soon. Bye now.